Hey everybody, we're here with Candon Needham tonight at Game King. Candon will be showing us the deck that he played at the South Portland Maine Regional, which got him 10th place. Candon, do you want to go right into the deck? Do you have anything you want to say?
Sure. So I was playing Water, and so obviously 3 Neptibus because it's still one of the best cards in the deck, 2 Dragoons because I can't run 4, 2 Heavy Infantry, and that actually was the end of my Atlantean engine. I played around with 3, it was good, but you only ever resolve Neptibus twice, and so that's how you're getting it off, so I didn't feel like you needed.
Did you ever miss Marksman?
Marksman is good with Tatsunoko, since he's searchable and you can go into that. You're going to like Coral Dragons, but like right now the back row that you have to worry about are like D-barriers that they're going to chain and strikes that they're going to use on your monsters anyways, so like the deck just plays into back row rather than trying to destroy it.
Okay.
So then I had the Frog Engine a little bit, so 3 swaps, only one of them was ulti, and a Ronin Totem. And these I actually wasn't originally going to play, but over the course of the day, it really proved that if you have a water monster and a swap in hand, that's a Toad, and so any hand with swap and any water is a good hand.
And you have a lot of water.
It's 30 waters.
Wow.
30 or 31. It's 41 cards. So then 1 Diva so that I can run a 4th Neptibus and make silly things like Tatsunoko and Herald for more negations. 3 Aqua Spirits, just because it's a garbage card, but you need to make Bahamut as much as possible.
Was 3 cloggy at all?
Surprisingly, no, because like you have so many discards for waters that it's fine, especially with the addition of the 3 swaps. So I never really felt clogged by it.
Okay.
So 2 Gunned, pretty regular, 2 Pike, regular searches your 3s. Actually, the more normal thing would be 1 Turge, which I sided out a lot, but it's good because you can get like Neptibus from Grave, things like that.
Okay.
Then the 3 terrible Mermails, Mander, Hild, and Scotia. And that's just because they're all terrible, and but if you have any water, any way to summon a level 4, and a Teus in hand, then it can get you double Toad or Toad Dweller, which is surprisingly easy to do. It's more or less just, do you have a Teus in hand, and then you can use this, summon both of these, use the material, use this, and then make these 4s and go double Toad or Toad Dweller. And then the guy who does it all is 3 Teus, because it's insane, just because you can search so much stuff and search that combo, and he's an Aqua for Toad. So then 2 Megalos. 3 Megalos I think would still be good, but I don't feel like I needed 3 Megalos because the deck is set up to go either 1st or 2nd.
Did you ever miss the 3rd one?
I didn't really miss the 3rd one just because with Dragoons and how much you can abuse Dragoons now with this build because it makes rank 4s easier. I never really felt like I didn't need it and couldn't get to it.
Okay.
So that's the monsters. I believe that is, it's either 30 or 31, this is either 10 or 11. No traps. So I had 3 Desires just for draw, 2 Morays for draw, and there's so many waters that it's almost always live.
Was it really good, you think?
It was really good. This was my first time actually using Moray. Before I was just using the Desires and no Morays, and this thing just like, it just made it so slightly awkward hands could become bananas, or really just make good hands better.
Okay.
Especially if you do something like, you don't need the search from like a Teus or a Pike, but you've got something else in hand, this just makes it so that instead of searching, it's just drawing. 3 Instant Fusions for Norden, obviously. I don't have a rare fish, or else I probably would have been using that.
Did it ever come up where you think you needed it, or?
Yeah, because if you go turn 1, if you have like Teus, Instant Fusion, and a water monster, then I would rather rather go rare fish because when you make the Norden, like turn one with that hand, you don't get the summon. So I'd rather have rare fish so that I could go into Instant Fusion again later.
Okay.
I don't think it really negatively impacted me, but it just would have been nice to have. I run one Mizuchi rather than Sphere just because this is good going first because you negate a spell, and it's good going second because you OTK, so I just felt it was a better choice. Soul Charge, because if you're not going to OTK that turn, you can just make a million Toads, and a million Toads is pretty good. And then 1-for-1 for my 5th Neptunus.
That's just like auto win, right?
Basically, against some decks, because if you can get a Neptunus and then still have your normal summon, it's really, really good. So then the extra deck was the 3 Toads, just because that Toad is super cheap, just because it's too good. 2 Bahamut, because I need to make lots of Toads. 1 Spider Shark, which basically everyone had to read when I played against them, which was actually really good. It's almost like a little Utopia Lightning as well as a Monster Reborn, so it's just really good for pushing for damage.
It's harder for them to beat over Toad, right?
And it's harder for them to beat over the Toad because it becomes a 27. And I actually had a guy summon a 2600 monster and attack over... Oh, sorry, that was a 12.
Okay.
It's hard to beat over Toad, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter. Dweller, because it's busted, and the 500 is even more busted. Utopia and Lightning, just... I never really used it in the event, but I knew the times would come up. Gaios, who was just good for if I went first and had a Teus on board and a Megalo on board, just make this and they have to deal with it with weird things. They just have to play around it, which is nice. And then for Synchros, I ran Tatsunoko, just because Diva and Neptunus can make some really crazy plays with Tatsunoko, and you can just go into some weird stuff. And I actually ended up having a guy put a Flying Sea on my board, and I had Tatsunoko and a level 4, and went into Leo to get it over it, and then I was able to make my Toads, and so it ended up being really good.
Was he salty?
He was pretty salty. Then Herald of Arclight, which didn't come up as much, but it's just another negation that you can make, and another way to use Diva, which is pretty nice. Moonlight, I didn't make at all, but when you make it, you can make it like Tatsunoko on a level 4 in hand. When you make it, you can just bounce stuff. It's really nice. And then the Norden. The only change I might make to this is I want to add a rare fish, and I was thinking about doing a Coral Dragon maybe instead of the Moonlight, but I'm not sure. Just because it's easier to make with Tatsunoko. And then for the side, I had 2 anti-spells for Pendulums, 2 Twin Twisters for Pendulums, 2 Typhoons for Pendulums. I don't like Pendulums.
Were you afraid of that matchup?
Yeah, I have some trouble with the Metal Foes matchup, just because even when you've got like 2 Toads, 2 negations sometimes isn't enough because they have too much stuff.
Karen's a pretty good card too.
Karen's a really good card. 2 Max C's that I didn't really use. A Regeki that I didn't really use but this was my 3rd system down if I had it, but 2 system down, and that should have been a system down. For ABCs. 2 Book of Eclipse, which I really underestimated before the event, but it ended up being really good just to be able to put things face down that were going to mess up my day, like a Beatrice and Kieran's. Put them face down before I put any targets on board for them to mess with. It was nice. 2 Chalices, it didn't come up, but it's for Dweller. Any deck that makes Dweller, they draw or standby phase, use it, they can just Chalice it.
That's smart.
And then, hold on, these were actually in the main deck.
Dun dun dun!
Yeah, I actually had these 2 Kaijus in the main deck. I accidentally put them over in the side. But I liked it just because if I lose the dice roll, the way the deck is, it can do well going first or second. So if I lose the dice roll and I go second, I can still get the kaijus off, and obviously they're water, so they still fuel morays and mermails and all that stuff.
Very nice, Candon. Very nice. Any shout-outs?
Obviously, shout out to Team Salt, because it's the best team. Shout out to Konami for allowing a cheater who got banned and a thief who got banned stole my buddy's stuff, let him go to 2 events straight that I was at. So shout out to Konami for keeping up on your thieves. And yeah, shout out to Water for existing so that I can have water type monsters.
Awesome. Thank you, Candon.